It feels like everyone says they're burnt out these days, and it's become a bit of a buzzword. But from your perspective, what does burnout really mean, and how would you define it clinically?
I totally agree, Amarita. I think I hear that a lot, like, oh, I'm so burned out. I'm like, well, you have no idea what that means. You wouldn't be here working and functioning. But it's dangerous indeed to use something clinical in a very sloppy way, and many people think it's kind of a state where you feel tired, stressed, or overwhelmed, which is kind of natural. It's not clinical, even if it's a little bit more so from time to time. So there's a danger in here to minimize the real impact burnout has. And it's very important that you really understand what it means. And I'm happy with the new definition of the World Health Organization, I think, which was revised a year and a half or 2 years ago, because they noticed exactly that no one knows exactly what it means. So they defined it as an occupational phenomenon resulting from chronic workplace stress that has not been successfully managed. And what is different from this definition compared to the other definitions? It has a clear connection to work. So it's not like the tiredness or the demotivation you could have in life, like life crisis or life philosophical crisis or stuff like this. Has nothing to do with burnout. It's really related to work. And there are 3 core symptoms, which is first the exhaustion. And again, I'm not talking here about tiredness, about like something which you can overcome with a good weekend, with a holiday, with a good night of sleep. It's exhaustion. You have no energy left. The second pillar is detachment or cynicism. It's kind of you get distanced to your work, to your colleagues, to your clients, and at the end you have a reduced sense of professional efficacy, of effectiveness, of getting things done, which is very frustrating. So as I said, exhaustion is not the normal tiredness. It's very emotional as well. It's not just physical. And you, for example, wake up tired already. You have no energy to face the day, to get things done. And this goes on the whole day, whole week, whole month. So you have never again this feeling of, yeah, let's do it, of the feeling of having some energy left. And very important in this definition is that it's a consequence of unmanaged stress at work, as the definition itself says. So when you distance yourself in this second phase from your work, it's kind of a self-protection mechanism. I think this is very clever of our body. Just when we're not like aware of that and intervening and changing things, this has negative consequences. When you're like cynical or detached from your work, from your colleagues, from your leaders, from your clients, obviously this has a very negative impact on your engagement, on your motivation, on your results as well, on the satisfaction of everyone around you, and also on the satisfaction you have with your work, because you're not like connected, you're not engaged there. And I think this leads directly to this third dimension, which is like not getting things done. And this causes a lot of self-doubt, guilt. You're feeling like incompetent as a professional in at your work, because you're like just not even the simple things, you're not just able to do them. Once I talked to a CEO which suffered burnout, a very severe form of burnout, and she told me, I was not able to organize my agenda at the beginning of the week. I was not able to do it. I had no energy, no skills, no concentration, no focus left to do a very, very simple task. So it's very, very different, I think, from I'm feeling overwhelmed, I'm stressed. It's a very severe condition. And it's important to recognize as well that the WHO they did this they created this very detailed definition, but they also said it's not a medical condition. It's a consequence, it's a phenomenon, it's like it's a factor which can lead indeed to anxiety, to depression, to a lot of other severe clinical conditions. But burnout itself, it's a risk factor for developing some medical conditions.
That's a good distinction to make. Wow, it seems all-consuming, huh? So what are the main causes of burnout in the modern workplace?
Another big question. It's a very complex situation. There's not one factor, because we're looking at stress at work, chronic stress at work, which the person or the individual was not able to manage in a successful way due to different causes or different factors. So we have to maybe understand what causes chronic stress at work, because those are the factors which can lead to burnout. It's not that when for example, let's talk about the first factor, an excessive workload. This doesn't mean that I will develop burnout, but it's a risk factor. If some other factors comes along with that, then I have a condition where I might develop burnout. So excessive workload means when the demand of a job is consistently more than I can handle. It's not like from one day or another, it's consistent. And this leads to the first dimension of burnout, exhaustion. And in our current workplace, I think it's important to reflect about that. We have some attitudes which are nurturing a lot this always having to deliver something. It's an always on culture, the expectation of constant availability. You're always like online, you're always like reachable on your phone or on your computer, or we have this has like created a very big difficulty to differentiate like my life at work, my life like my professional life and my personal life. There's no clear like line in between, because we're online all the time. So when am I online professionally and when am I online personally? It's so hard to tell, right? So this is dangerous.
It's a blur.
Yeah, exactly. It's a blur. And then we also have like this tendency to lean staffing, to do more with the same amount of fewer people. And now I think with AI, we have this tendency even more like to get the same thing done with less people, or to get more done with the same amount of people, which overloads everyone. And again, like excessive workload happens. We all have been through that, and it alone won't be so bad, like for your physical and for your mental health. But when combined to other factors, like for example, lack of control and autonomy, this is very, very dangerous for like getting so stressed out that you will develop a burnout. What means lack of control and autonomy is that, for example, you're not enabled to make decisions regarding to your schedule, to your assignments, to your resources. You need to do your job in a good way. And micromanagement is a classic example of a management style that strips employees of their autonomy and foster feelings of helplessness, of being impotent, and is a major stress driver, like a major stress factor. And imagine that together with a high workload, you're not like able to decide anything about what you're doing, and you have to deliver constantly. So this is getting very critical. Then there are other factors, of course, like insufficient reward and recognition. Imagine you're working a lot, you're not deciding a lot about your work, and you're not even recognized about it. That's very frustrating, right? And this extends beyond just financial compensation. Employees need to feel that their contributions are valued, are acknowledged, they have an impact. I know why I'm doing something. I see what I impact with what I'm doing. And the lack of recognition, whether in the form of praise, promotions, or fair pay, can lead to a profound sense of cynicism and feeling that one's effort are meaningless. And this nurture a lot this third dimension of burnout, which is like the getting distant to your work because like you're not feeling valued there. It's very normal that we do that. Like when someone does not value us, we distance ourselves from this person, and the same happens with work, for example.
Yeah, it makes sense. If you're not feeling seen, then that might be, you might start to kind of,
yeah, to like, okay, like it's a self-protection mechanism. It's very healthy to do that, actually. So it's important that we recognize all the efforts of our employees. There are other things, more like environmental factors, like a toxic work environment, of course, causes a lot of stress. Humans are social creators. We want to connect. We want to feel part of it. We want the community. And if someone is like excluded or bullied, doesn't have the support from others, this creates huge stress in our system, physical, emotional system. Perceived lack of fairness as well. We worry. We are fair at the base of our nature. So when decisions happen regarding assignments, promotions, or discipline are handled unfairly or inequitably, this is very frustrating, and this creates stress. Of course, I think unfortunately, we've all been there. I think in school more than maybe at work, but this creates a lot of stress and can cause this chronic stress not managed well. And also, I think a last factor, important one, more maybe organizational one, is a mismatch of values. If I'm working in a company where I'm not like aligned with the values, with my personal, or that has to say my personal values are different from the values of the organization, I kind of have to be another person all the time, and this requires a lot of energy, and this causes a lot of stress, emotional stress, because I can't be myself. I can't be like open and just express myself as the way I think. And I think there are maybe more other factors in each environment. The dynamics, the realities are different. So it's important for each of us to pause a little bit, what I said earlier, to pause from time to time and recognize, am I stressed? Why am I stressed? What is happening here? Like, I feel not like well informed. Okay, there's like a lack of transparency maybe between me and my leader, so I have to address that. Or I feel excluded, like I'm not like feeling part of my team. That is also something we should address with our leader if you have this this trust with this person, or we can like go and reach out to HR. It's very important to feel like what is happening at your workplace, because every time when you're not feeling well, when you kind of catch yourself demotivated Monday morning, oh my God, that's a signal that that sometimes it's just tiredness as well, because you had like a lot of things going on the weekend. But if it's like constantly on Monday morning, you're not motivated, you should like try to change things to identify what is going on here.
See kind of like what you kind of walked us through the main causes of burnout and how that can kind of add up and compound. And so there you have it. You end up getting the Sunday scaries.